What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to NoLifeTilMetal. Going to be doing a NoLifeTilMetal graphics and records update today. Got a lot to show because it's been a while since I've done one of these. Quite a bit of stuff here. So I'm going to start off with, I'm just going to get right into it and start off with Mastedon, LOFCAUDIO. I showed the, it's a jungle out there, the first Mastedon that I had worked on for Girder Records in my last update. But this one hadn't arrived yet, so it's finally here, and it did arrive, and it came out very nice. This is the original cover art. Had to be blown up from a CD, but I did quite a bit of cleanup on it. Actually, it looks cleaner than the original. I centered the letters in the blocks, which they weren't on the original for whatever reason, and just cleaned it up real nice. And the back cover's brand new. It's got a picture of a Mastedon there, obviously. I'm going to quickly open this thing up. Here is the, there's a picture sleeve in here. There's a picture sleeve with the lyrics on one side. In the background you can see the cityscape that was in the original CD. And then there is the actual cityscape itself. Of course, Mastedon being the project from John and Dina Elefante. John Elefante having been the former Kansas singer during the, I don't know, for a short time in the 80s, I don't know, maybe half the 80s or so. But here's the actual vinyl itself and the custom center rings. Let me pull that one further so you can see the custom center rings. But very cool looking splatter vinyl, sounds fantastic. I don't know who mastered this one. It's a Jungle Out There was mastered by Rob Caldwell. This one was not mastered by Rob Caldwell, but I don't know who it was that mastered it. It's not in the notes, so couldn't tell you who remastered it, but it is remastered. So there you go. Mastedon, LOFCAUDIO, and that one was available on CD too, and I did pull the CD just to show it. Or I thought I did. Oh yeah, I did. Here's one of those gold discs, as you can see. It's got the gold border on it. As with all the gold discs, it has the original cover on without the gold border on the inside, so you can show either one through the case, and you can see the gold CD. Everything that's in the record is in the CD. So there you go, CD or vinyl, Mastedon. Just so happens I have this one too. This is It's a Jungle Out There. I showed that one in my last video update. So, all right. Next, I'm going to get into some. Let's see here. I do have some more vinyl to show. Got some test pressings to show. Got a little bit of everything here to show. I'm going to get into a couple CDs that I get for Rox Records. So this is Ritual Servant. This is their first EP that came out before their what is it called? I can't remember the name of the album. The full-length album. Something Metallum. But this is their first EP, 777. It was released digitally only at first, but Rox Records released the 3-song EP. It's $7.77 at roxrecords.com if anybody's interested. Great thrash metal. Patrick Best is just a fantastic songwriter, guitar player. Total old school with the silver CD with the black printing on it. That's what he requested. I did not actually design this cover art. All I did was basically some layout on this one, but still, I thought I'd show it anyhow. All black and white, EP, very cool. Next one up, Michael 2. This is the second album from Michael. This is AOR, hard rock, whatever you want to call it. This is their second album. This album was never released before, so it's actually a brand new release for 2020, but it was recorded back in the 90s. For whatever reason, it just wasn't released. So there is a total of 12 tracks on here. 8 tracks from the original album that was recorded back in the 90s, and then there is 4 bonus tracks. So I did design the cover on this one along. My original design was a lot different than this one, but working back and forth with the band, mostly with Vic Stone, we came up with this as the final cover with the bloody shield and the sword and whatnot. There's the CD itself and the liner notes. I believe this has got an 8-page booklet. It might have a 12-page booklet. I can't remember. 12-page booklet. But you can see lyrics, very readable. One of the things I demand when doing design. I hate unreadable lyrics. You can put stuff in the background behind the lyrics, but the stuff in the background should be more important and shouldn't overshadow the lyrics, and that's the case here. And then you can see the sword, which is actually pulled out a bit here, and it says "by" word on it. So anyhow, Michael. This album's musically a bit more heavy, guitar heavy. it's not. I mean, this is not heavy metal by any stretch of the imagination. This is just straight up AOR hard rock. But this one's more guitar oriented than the first album. The first album was a mixture of guitar and keys. Keyboard being just as important as like the guitars were, but this one, keys are, if there isn't even any keys, it's mostly in the background. This is all about the guitars. The song "Lost at the Cross" is actually up on YouTube if you're interested in checking it out. But this is a Rox Records release as well. This being, I think, the fourth, maybe fifth album for XL and DVD. The cover art is kind of a combination of my work and somebody else's. They wanted a certain look for the cover. They wanted that's Todd's XL, basically. XL is his name. And that's him there on fire on the cover. Somebody sent me that photo, and then I put it all together and cropped it and added the logos and the title and chose all the fonts and did stuff like this to the background with his photo on there. And you can see liner notes again and the actual CD itself. And quickly show you the CD. Oop. Now, XL and DVD is hard rock, heavy metal with rap vocals. Most people would say rapcore. It's not really rapcore because it's not that 90s, 2000s rapcore stuff. There's nothing core about it really. It's just straightforward heavy metal mostly with a rapper. Sometimes he sings and sometimes he raps. But have you ever heard his albums from the early 90s called let's see, what was it called? Sodom in America, which I really like it. I mean, I like some of the 80s rap stuff to begin with, but this is not that far off from that. Again, there are clips on YouTube if anybody is interested in hearing it, and I just threw it on the floor. But you get the idea, XL and DVD. So those were some for Rox. Let's see, is there anything else for Rox in here that I need to show you before I get into the rest of this stuff? Nope, no more Rox. So now we're getting into, I'll get into these two. These are for sound masks in Australia and the UK. They ship out of Australia, they ship out of the UK, so if you're in Europe, Soundmass is a great place to shop for, especially Christian metal. Matter of fact, I think that's pretty much mostly what they sell is Christian metal or stuff that's, like, Galactic Cowboys or Mass or something like that, where it's not necessarily Christian metal, but it's some people would call it Christian metal, I guess, but I don't know. But in any case, Mortification, this would have been their 1996 album, I believe. This album was recorded just before Steve Rowe was sick with lymphatic leukemia. Actually, my band Ultimatum played a few shows with him on this tour, but I did the entire design on this one. The cover is reshot from the original painting. Adam, who owns Soundmass, managed to get the original painting reshot, so it's crystal clear. There is no... I didn't have to blow it up from the CD, which is really nice. I mean, I would have if I had to, but the fact that we had the original painting and get a brand new crystal clear photo, this thing is probably better than the original cover. Back cover is completely redesigned. Of course, there's a promo photo of the band on the back. The sword, the Star of David with the swords and the crown and the Christian fish, all that kind of that was all inside the original CD. Name of the album, of course, is ENVISION Evangeline. It's got one really long song, almost 15 minutes long, on the title track on side A, and then it's got Jehovah Nissi. Side B has 6 songs on it. So there you go, front cover, back cover. This does have an insert. It is black and white. Again, you can see the lyrics. Once again, you can see something in the background, but it doesn't overpower the lyrics, so you can actually read the lyrics. That's important. And then on this side, you get a collage with printed autographs. Those are not real autographs, obviously. And if you look real closely right there, see if I can, right there, that's me. A picture of us, the whole band Ultimatum, when we were doing some shows with Mortification on this tour. So we're happy with that one. This is also has a, oops, it also has a, it's black vinyl. All of them are black vinyl. There's no color vinyl on this one. As you can see in the custom center rings, and they're different on each side. And I apologize for the glare. One of these days I'll get better lighting for this room. Again, Mortification, this is the one that came out after Steve Rowe had clinically died several times from his leukemia. But this is his comeback album, Triumph of Mercy. This album is a huge, huge influence on me. I mean, I just, not so much musically, but during that time, I had become friends with Steve Rowe. You know, he signed our band to his label, and I mean, he was living in Australia, and it wasn't really internet at the time, but we wrote letters back and forth, and we even talked on the phone occasionally, as expensive as that was back in the day. But when he got so sick, man, I spent so much time praying for that man. I went to a little Spanish church down in the South Valley, Albuquerque, that time, and that little South Valley church cared so much that they were lifting him up in prayer every week, and they were raising money and sending him for medical bills. So it was really cool. So this, you know, when we were told he was not going to live, this is just a testimony of you know, something very special. And the cover art is a picture of an angel with one wing hiding his face and the other wing holding Steve Rowe up. And I guess this is something that Steve Rowe envisioned and saw one of the times that he was dying. He saw this angel hiding his face from him and upholding him and lifting him and making him feel whole again. And the back cover is pretty vivid as well. You can see Steve Rowe in victory on one side, and you can see him sick and in the hospital and in pain on the other side. But yeah, this album is incredible. Just the fact that a man who was so close to death with a disease that was sure to take him out, lymphatic leukemia, and he is actually the longest living survivor. He's still alive, Steve Rowe. This is back in 1998, 1996, 97 when he got sick, and he's still alive today, longest living survivor of that disease. And he told me 100% credits that to his faith in God and to God for healing him. So, but there you go. Again, there is an insert. It is black and white. Once again, you can see there's something in the background, but the text is totally readable. Another collage, half collage, because over here you get the entire story of what happened to Steve right from Steve Rowe's mouth. This story is actually originally was originally in Heaven's Metal magazine back in 1998. And then there's a little short intro back on the bottom here about Steve Rowe that he wrote in 2020 just for this release. So very cool. So glad I was able to work on this album because, like I said, it was a huge influence on me. Just a big inspiration to me in my faith. But again, you can see the custom centering and the custom centering on the back. All right, so there you go. That's the two Soundmass releases that I worked on. They actually have 3 albums for sale right now. They also have the first Mortification album from 1991. The self-titled on like a glow-in-the-dark looking green vinyl. I don't think it's glow-in-the-dark. It's just like a nuclear green or a puke green. I don't know. Some color green. But anyhow, you can buy all 3. They have a package, and even with shipping from it's fairly inexpensive coming all the way from Australia for 3 records. All right. Next up is let's see what we got here. Mostly Rock Record stuff. So what do we got here? This is, oh, actually, there's a couple NoLifeTilMetal releases too. I forgot about that. I'll show you this one. NoLifeTilMetal. This is the test pressing for Bangalore Choir. You see the Bangalore Choir sticker up here. This is a sticker that we're giving away for free to the first, I think it was first 100 pre-orders. I'm pretty sure we're close to sold out on those. You may have a few left if anybody's interested. NoLifeTilMetalRecords.com. If you order the records, you get the sticker for free. But in any case, this is a test pressing that was approved quite a while ago for that. So very excited about that. But again, you can see Bangalore Choir. On Target's the name of the album. Very limited run of those. We only pressed 200 vinyl and 300 CDs. But I also have this. This just went on sale this past maybe a week or 2 ago. But this is Mass. This is the free poster that we're giving away with anybody who pre-orders one of the vinyl copies of either or both Sea of Black and Crack of Dawn from 2007 and 2010. Both those have been out of print and out of circulation for over a decade. So they'll be back in CD and vinyl on the NoLifeTilMetal Records. So kind of excited about that. Been a huge Mass fan since the 80s, pretty much. I think Take You Home was really the album that sold it to me, because songs like Pedal to the Metal and Holy One and Take You Home, just that whole EP, just brilliant. And I've been a fan ever since. I can't remember if I showed this one or not in my last update, so I'm going to show this one quickly just in case. Retroactive Records. This is Paradox Ruler. Black and white cover art, black and white center rings, black vinyl, black and white insert. It's just part of the whole package. Intentionally done so. It's very classy. But yeah, this is classic metal. Many would label this as 80s US power metal. I think this came out in 1986 or 87. '87, and yeah, it's like kind of like early Queensryche or Hellstar, or that kind of stuff with the clean soaring over the top vocals, straight up heavy metal and shredding guitars. But this was only ever released on cassette back in the '80s. Was released on various compilations over the years, but first time it's ever been released as a full album on vinyl and CD. And again, I got to work on these, and much like the other projects that I've worked on, it's got liner notes by Doug Van Pelt, who was a huge part of that band, because the band is from Austin, Texas, as is San Antonio. I don't know. The band is from Texas, as is Doug Van Pelt, and he was a huge part of this band back. But this is the collage with photos and of the band and some memorabilia and whatnot. Once again, lyrics are included. And liner notes by both Manny Castillo. Manny Castillo is what everybody knows him by, and Doug Van Pelt. All right, so those were great. I love Paradox. I've had that tape for decades. Nice to have it finally on CD, and it sounds fantastic. Remastered by Rob Caldwell from the original master tapes, so that's nice too. What do we got next? We've got let's do these. This is test pressing for Tourniquet Stop the Bleeding. Obviously, nothing much to the artwork here, but this went on sale, I'm going to say like 3-4 weeks ago, and should be shipping soon, as soon as it arrives from the factory. But what did arrive from the factory was the CD pressing, which just arrived this week and is shipping out this coming week. So if you order the CD, it's on its way. If you order the CD and the vinyl, then you're going to have to wait because the vinyl's not in yet. But it's not the actual release date anyhow, so if you get it early, you're lucky. But I worked directly with Ted Kirkpatrick on these, Ted being one of my favorite drummers, Tourniquet being one of my favorite bands. Many of you guys know that. I've said it many times before. If you look in the background over there, right there, you can see a brand new addition to my room. That's an autographed drum head directly from Tourniquet. It's from Ted Kirkpatrick, who gave that to me for all the work we did together on these. So here you go. All these have at least 4 bonus tracks, I believe, and the bonus tracks are all stuff that hasn't been released before, except for one track, because I begged them to put it on there, and I'll get to that. But 16-page booklets, tons of photos that have never been seen before. Some of these photos were photo sessions the band did before they were signed, and they just had never been published and used before. So Ted came up with all kinds of cool photos. There's a few in here that have been seen before, but for the most part, a lot of these photos have not been seen or not been used. There's a band photo that had never been published before. There is a couple small pictures on the original release with the original guitar player. I've already forgotten his name. Mark Lewis. There's Mark Lewis right there. So that one picture was very small. I'm talking like less than an inch wide on the original CD, but there's a much bigger picture of it. But there's some more pictures of him and the band. Like I said, 16-page booklets. There's lyrics in here. There's liner notes by Ted Kirkpatrick. Tons of photos. Remastered sound by, again, Rob Caldwell. And they're actually on sale and shipping this week. So this came out fantastic. I'm really happy with the printing on this and everything. Unfortunately, when it comes to CDs and vinyl and going to different plants around the country, you can't control the presses. You can't control the printing. So sometimes things come out darker or lighter than you had hoped. But this one's came out beautiful, and sound is great. As well, here is another test pressing. This is a test pressing for Tourniquet Psychosurgery. Again, the test pressing sounds fantastic and was approved, so those are in production and will be shipping as soon as they're available from the factory. Once again, 16-page booklet, remastered sound, Rob Caldwell, 4 bonus tracks, lots of photos that no one's ever seen before. There's one around the back right there that's never been released before. And once again, now on this side of this book, there's a picture of Ted that was never published before. There's a few pictures that were because these pictures are incredible. That picture of Gary on there, that had to be included. It was in the original, very small, had to be put in there big in this one. Same thing with this picture of Victor Macias with his base literally on fire. There's a collage of tons of photos and flyers and stuff that no one's ever seen before. That picture has been released before. That's Eric Mendez. And one more picture. This is Guy Ritter. I don't think that photo has ever been released before. And that photo definitely had not been released up until this reissue. This actually photo was actually been used in a lot of the advertising done for this as well. So very cool. I'm a huge Tourniquet fan. I have been since 1990 when I bought their first album. Tourniquet Psychosurgery. This is the album that really pushed them above and got them signed with Metal Blade and you know, just gave them the popularity that they have now. So, and then this one as well. This is Pathogenic Ocular Dissonance. I do not have the test pressing for that. That one has not gone to manufacturing yet. It will be later this year. But again, I worked with Ted Krupak directly on this. Again, 16-page booklet. Some new graphics on there. You can see the little eyeball scans there. Now this one here, I'm a little disappointed. Just a little. It's a little dark. It should have been a little brighter than that. Not a lot brighter. I think the reissue from 2011 is too bright. It's much brighter than the original. This one's just a little darker than I wanted it to be, but the rest of the booklet is pretty superb. Again, tons of photos. Great photo of Ted in the front there with a write-up directly from Ted. Liner notes. Eric Mendez again. Vocalist Guy Ritter. There's your collage with some photos and period correct flyers and whatnot. Victor Macias, love that. That's a great photo, Victor. Gary's on there. And finally, liner notes by Chris Jericho, wrestler Chris Jericho, and I guess this was a huge album for him, so he wrote some liner notes for it. And there's a never before published photo of the band as well. So there you go. Here's the CD for that one. I like the tray on this one too, the inner tray. It's funny, if you look at the CD itself, actually printed a little lighter than the cover did. This is kind of what I wanted the cover to look like. But there's the Tourniquet eye chart. There you go, Tourniquet. This is Pathogenic Ocular Dissonance, their third album that was released both on Tense and Metal Blade Records at around the same time. And that's it for this one. I'm going to show these real quick because I can't remember if I did them or not. I'm pretty sure I did, but I'm going to show them again real quick anyhow. This is the 3 Barren Cross releases that I worked on. This is Atomic Arena. Again, 16-page booklets, remastered by Rob Caldwell. Tons of liner notes and tons of photos. This is their third full-length album. This was State of Control. Has both bonus tracks. This album was released in 2 different markets, in the Christian marketplace and the secular marketplace, mainstream marketplace, and each of them had a separate bonus track on the CD. This CD for the first time has both bonus tracks on it. And those tracks being Your Love Gives, which is a ballad, which was one on the Christian one, and then Escape in the Night, which was on the mainstream release. And then finally their live album. And there you go. Those are also on Retroactive Records. So if you're interested in the Tourniquet CDs, the Tourniquet records, the Barren Cross reissues, those are all boonsoverstock.com, and I'll put a little description here so you can see where it is. And that's it. Appreciate y'all watching. This was a long one, but it was a lot to show, so I appreciate y'all hanging in there with me. God bless. Stay strong.